Cobra Kai is officially done. Oh, Zooey Mama, I'm sad. I'm a sad guy. Who's got two thumbs that is a sad guy? Me, I'm clinically depressed. No, I'm not. I don't want to joke about that. No jokes aside. Cobra Kai is over. However, wait for this. The creators have teased there being some potential spin-offs for the show. So today, what we're doing is we are gonna rank all of the potential spin-off ideas, and by all of them, I mean like 5 of them that I found on the Screen Rant article. So that's fun. Let's get into it. Let's not waste each other's time. The first one, Julie Pierce, her Cobra Kai return could set up a spin-off. I'm gonna go ahead and say no, absolutely not. I think Julie Pierce has kind of ran her course in the Karate Kid universe. Granted, you could have said that about like every adult character that showed up in this show, so maybe there's something there, but I don't think they would do that. It'd be weird to just jump off of a character that has really nothing to do with Cobra Kai to make her own show. Sure, it could be a whole other thing, but that's still kind of a Karate Kid spin-off rather than a Cobra Kai one. So this one, I'm saying no. You know, in fact, of the 5, I'll say which one's gonna be the best. Maybe I'll rank them, dude. People like ranking videos. Yeah, the Rancor. Who's got one thumb and is the Rancor? This guy. A Miyagi prequel show. Now this is a little interesting. Me personally, I think this is a fine idea. I think there is a chance that this is the idea they go with, but personally, I'm leaning towards, I'm a little against it. And I think that Mr. Miyagi is a character who is obviously amazing, one of the best characters in the whole entire universe, and he's only in, you know, the first little block of movies. An amazing character, but I also don't think he's a character that needs, you know, all of this backstory, all of this, like the prequel to explain his childhood and everything like that. I don't think we need that. I like the version of him that we have there. I like what we learn about him in Cobra Kai. I think that's good enough. That's about as far as I'd ever want them to take it. I think just going back further is a little unnecessary, and quite frankly, I think if done the wrong way, it could hurt the legacy of this character. So I would also prefer that they don't do this, but it is better than the last one. I'll give them that. Moving on. Okay, let's look at our third idea. A Chozen spinoff. Now that's interesting. That is interesting. Chozen, I will say, of the 3 ideas so far, I think this is the best idea. However, I do think we run into a similar issue with a lot of the ideas that I've kind of heard of, like the Chozen, you know, his dojo and, you know, Sensei Kim and all of them. I think it runs into the question of how are you going to make this interesting? How are you going to make this just not like, okay, we train, and then there's the evil dojo, and then the tournament, and then this, and then we come back to the Sekai Chekai and all this stuff. It just goes on forever. I think Cobra Kai was a interesting way to do that because you had that tension between Johnny and Daniel, and then later on, Kreese and Silver and all these other people. But again, I don't think that would be as interesting with Chozen. I think it's a little too cookie cutter for what we've seen before. That being said, I do think this is the best idea of the 3 so far. Let's go on to 4 and 5. 444, Hawk could lead a Cobra Kai spinoff. The next Karate Kid show could be more of a direct Cobra Kai spinoff that follows Eli, aka Hawk, after season 6. As we all know, Hawk is wherever the hell he is with what's his face, Dmitri. Dmitri. I hate Dmitri. Dmitri, I hate you. I really don't like Dmitri, in case you couldn't tell. This is fine. This is okay. And I think that if there is going to be a show forward, like I said, I don't want it to just be dojos and then the tournament and then training and evil dojo. And I think that this idea, it does lend itself to being more. Dimitri's freaking hitting on the hot girl. He's cheating on his girlfriend again. One of the big jocks from a frat goes like, "You're talking to my girl?" And then Hawk's gotta, you know, whip out the Hawk moves. They get into some fights. You could still get some action. But if anything, even doing a 1 or 2 season little slice of life comedy show with Hawk and Dmitri, I hate Dmitri, don't get me wrong, but it's not the worst idea in the world. And you could get a little, you know, Miguel cameo here, a little Robbie cameo, anyone else, Moon, freaking, yeah, throw Moon in there. Why not get Tori in here? I think that's not bad. That could be interesting. Is it a great idea? No, but not the worst idea either. Okay, I think it's literally going in kind of like order. Mr. Miyagi's better than Julie Pierce. Chozen's better than Mr. Miyagi. And I think the Hawk spinoff idea is better than the Chozen spinoff idea. I'm just saying. Choose a new dojo spinoff. Okay, so this article clearly didn't come out after the newest season, and I think that they kind of did introduce a new dojo in the sense of the Silver Dragons, and I think this does lead to a interesting prospect in Axel. Axel is a character who is in a weird spot because they developed him, but they didn't develop him enough, in my opinion, to the point where he was this legit, like, really good standout character. And I think that a spin-off absolutely could do that. And I know I said I don't want like dojos and things like that. I think it makes a lot of sense for Axel to, you know, at least hang up, you know, the freaking gi in terms of fighting for the Silver Dragons and finding his future and what his life's going to be, maybe past that. Maybe, you know, like I said, there's always going to be some fights. He's going to get into some fights, and he's a freaking beast. And I think that could be interesting, especially once you navigate him dealing with, you know, a lot of this trauma that he has from Sensei Wolf and the Silver Dragons. Maybe Sensei Wolf isn't so keen on this guy, you know, walking away from the fight. That's not a bad idea. And that is our 5 ideas. I think they got better every single one. The Julie Pierce one, the worst one, and the Axel one that, you know, kind of my idea. Don't want to brag, didn't get it from this list. I think that's the best idea that they got. I do think Cobra Kai could keep going just because I think this show is absolutely hilarious. I love the kind of TV that it represents, but I hope we're done with a lot of the main characters, Johnny and Daniel and Miguel and Sam and Tori and all those people. Will I be there if they do a sequel, you know, a Miguel spinoff? For sure, but I also think it's time for these characters to move on. It's a good ending that we got for all of them. It's a good place to end it. I don't want them. I don't want them. I'm down for side characters. That's fine. Not the main group, okay? I really don't want that. Then it's like, you know, in 20 years, we get the Miguel and Robbie. They got rival dojos. So then their kids, and it just goes until the end of time. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. That's my video. Hit subscribe. Let me know what Cobra Kai spinoff idea sounds the best to you. And I'll talk to you later. I make new videos all the time. Talk to you later.